The sun is the supplier of all life on Earth. Without the sun, everything on the planet will die. Many media have been trying to portray the sun as fatal rays. In most of human life, people spend more time outdoors than indoors. However, nowadays, most of us stay in the office all week and can only get the sun once and again every week. Click the link below the video to learn about the healthy eating plan. Now let's see what effect sunlight has on our body. 1. Frequent non-exposure to the sun and frequent sunburn are the main causes of skin damage and increased risk of cancer. Think of a typical person who has never seen sunlight in the office all week and then in the swimming pool on weekend or free on the beach. This is where damage occurs. 2. A small amount of regular continuous exposure, no burns, can actually protect the skin, increase the health of vitamin D in the body, and can improve mood, help depression and other benefits. The pigmentation of each person's skin determines how much sunlight each person must receive in order to be safe, rather than doing more harm than good. For example, fair-skinned people with the traditions of the Nordic countries may keep most of the human exposure for 10 to 15 minutes during peak solar hours before the harm is greater than the benefits. However, a person with darker skin and inherited from the equator may be exposed to sunlight for a longer period of time without causing more harm than good. 3. Regularly increasing the vitamin D content from small doses of sunlight can actually reduce the risk of cancer. Vitamin D itself seems to have a protective effect through various processes in the body. 4. This is interesting and worth considering. Vitamin D researcher Dr. William Grant said that people living in high latitudes like Iceland have about 4 times the incidence of cancer. They live in tropical low latitudes. Well, but people living in the tropics have higher levels of these so-called fatal sunlight, but they also produce high levels of vitamin D on average. 5. Vitamin D is actually a hormone in the body, which can regulate hundreds of processes. People can hardly realize almost all important health matters. There is even evidence that due to the regulation of hormones in our body, it may come from vitamin D. By producing enough vitamin D in the body, you can even promote fat loss, muscle growth, blood sugar balance and hundreds of other factors. 6. It is difficult to obtain enough vitamin D from food sources only. The best source of vitamin D is a type of vitamin D that we produce in the body, which is moderately and regularly exposed to sunlight without burning our skin. It is important to pay special attention that the intensity of ultraviolet B is sufficient to trigger the production of vitamin D in the human body between approximately 10 and 15 hours. Of course, this is the moment when well-meaning but ignorant health experts incorrectly tell you to stay away from the sun. The intensity of UVB rays in the early morning or afternoon is not enough to trigger the production of vitamin D, so you should be moderately exposed to most areas of the body in a short period of time, 10 takes -30 minutes halfway through the day, depending on skin pigmentation. Get the benefits of vitamin D. 7. If you are exposed to the sun for a long time, a diet rich in antioxidants can help protect the skin from damage to a certain extent. This means consuming large amounts of antioxidants, such as various teas, different berries, fruits, vegetables, beta-carotene, nuts, olive oil, etc., can help protect your skin. 8. Another point proves that irregular overexposure to the sun is the main cause of damage, rather than taking it regularly in small doses. The incidence of skin cancer is usually in irregular areas of the body, and occasionally overexposure and life. The area that is reasonably exposed is the opposite. Note how they detect cancer in the back and chest more often in their lives than in the neck or forearm. There are exceptions to everything, but this seems to be a general trend. Click the link below the video to learn about the healthy eating plan. 9. The incidence of skin cancer among office workers is higher than that of outdoor workers. This is another interesting trend. In essence, it can be concluded that most of the time is underexposed in the sun, working in the office all week, and then often overexposure will bring more problems than you for outdoor workers who are regularly exposed to the sun every day. Of course, indoor workers can still avoid the small-dose daily sunscreen problems we encounter by going out for 10 to 20 minutes a day during the break. 10. Common sense thinking: would you feel better and energetic all day long when sunbathing for 20 to 30 minutes during the day instead of being trapped inside? So, what is the best way to do this in a healthy way and minimize the risk of overexposure to sunlight? 1. In the winter in the northern latitudes, above the latitudes around South Carolina in the United States, if you do not bask in the sun for several months, the vitamin D content may fall to dangerously low levels. In winter, because your body cannot produce enough vitamin D from the sun, you must make sure to increase your intake from your diet. Oily fish, egg yolks and visceral meat are required. The best dietary source of vitamin D. 2. In the spring, try to start a few days in the sun, for example 10 to 15 minutes a day. Make sure you will never get sunburned. Almost every day, small doses are gradually administered in most parts of the body to help your body produce the most beneficial levels of vitamin D. 3. Avoid excessive exposure to sunlight for a long time in most areas of the body. If you are going to be outdoors for a few hours or a whole day, you will always need to ensure that you cover yourself properly, depending on your skin pigmentation and your personal sensitivities, to avoid burning the skin and causing injury. Remember, we are talking about taking small doses of beneficial sunlight on a regular basis instead of sunbathing all day long. Click the link below the video to learn about the healthy eating plan.